We're talking about nutrition today, actually. And a lot of you have been messaging me about some content that's floating around online. There's a lot of comments on my Instagram and my questions, the stickers that I post when I ask questions. I answer some questions and stuff like that. A lot of people have been asking me about calories in, calories out. And I'm always making that push. Ever since we started this whole thing, I'm making the push for food quality for the beginning. Food quality from the very, very beginning. Now, calories in, calorie counting, how much energy you're consuming, it matters, but it's also not 100%. We put way too much stock into MyFitnessPal and all these different measurement tools. Oh, you burned exactly 300 calories. Oh, you ate exactly 1,500. It's not perfect. You're not absorbing every single last calorie. You're not using every last calorie specifically, completely accurately to what these watches and things will tell you. So there is some room for error. There is some fluctuation there. And there's that same standard deviation for those of you that are into statistics. I hate it. I hate stats. But in other words, you have room for error. Okay. You have room for error when you do any of those measurements. So, in order to what's the most important thing that we need to get people to do for nutrition? In order to get to their results, in order to get better results, what do you think? What do you think's the most important thing? I have my opinion and my approach and my reasoning behind it, but I'm curious. What do you think is the most important thing for people to understand about nutrition? Or what do you think is the most important approach for nutrition to get people to actually, the majority of people, because all my content's for the majority of people. I'm not speaking to a specific audience. I'm not speaking to people that want to compete on stage only. I'm not speaking only to geriatric populations. I'm not talking to only people that are 70, 80, 90 years old. I'm not talking only to teenagers. I'm talking to everyone. So all my messages depend. All my messages depend on who's listening to them, because some people are going to like my message. Some people are really going to respond. And some people, well, I don't like it. I think that doesn't apply for people with eating disorders. No shit. I'm not talking to people that have fucking eating disorders. I'm talking to people. I'm not talking about self-diagnosed eating disorders, because 90% of people in this country from that standpoint has an eating disorder. We're not eating the right foods. We're just fundamentally making poor food choices. So what's the most important thing? The most important thing that someone can do, and let's just have a little conversation here, and then I'll give you my specific approach. That way you can kind of take something away from this and get a little bit of a better idea if you're new to the podcast. If you're brand new to the Swolenormous, if you're brand new to the Swolenormous, if you're brand new to the Daily Swole, drop some cherry emojis in the comments below. If you're popping your Swole cherry today, I always love to know whose cherry I'm popping. First time. And the reason why it's important is because then you're a member, you're a member of the audience for life, and you get very clingy. Whenever I pop someone's cherry, they get very clingy. If it's their first podcast, if it's their first Swolecast or Mancast, virgins get really clingy, and this will be their podcast for life. Eat less, no processed stuff. Nicholas shaved his chest this morning. I don't know where that comment come from. What are you guys talking about in this chat? What's going on here? Eating real whole foods, not processed garbage. Eat real food. Elimination, make food easy and accessible. Let's see. Know what the fuck you're putting into your face hole. That's good advice. Having people understand why processed foods shouldn't be eaten on a regular basis. Junebug. Ooh, Poppy. Hey, June. How'd it feel? Good? You liked it? I'm glad you liked it. What up at work driving around a forklift? It's cool. El Chuba Libre. Hope you enjoy it. Popping cherries left and right. Scott Light. All right. I don't care if you're male, female. I don't care what you claim. I don't care what letter you assign to your gender. We're popping all cherries here. I'm an equal opportunity popper. I'll pop anything. On the podcast, I'll pop anyone or anything's cherry. All right. If you bring your dog on the pod, I'll pop it. I'll pop everything here. As inappropriate as that came out and that sounds, oh yeah, I mean it. The Daily Swole, just popping everything. So. The knowledge cock is popping everything. I can't stop it. It's not like a choice. It's not something that I really planned out. It just happens. What's up, Christy? Stick to the basics. Cut out everything except fruit and veggies and quality meat and some sea salt. Oh, you're a lady after my own heart. All right, Ashley. That's hot. Sexy. Down with the food pyramid. Well, yeah, that doesn't help you. Doesn't help anyone stick to anything if you're just down with that. End the food pyramid. Knock down the pyramid. Okay, so all good examples. Oops. All good ideas, all good concepts. Let's see what Papa Swolio's up to. What's up, baby girl? What's up, baby girl? So all good concepts, all good approaches. Elimination, stick to the basics, real food, cut out processed foods. Okay, the simple stuff. The things that we are kind of all in agreement upon. I don't think anyone's really saying, oh, processed foods are great. But a lot of people really put way too much weight on the calories in, calories out at the expense of food quality. And I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think we should be talking about calories in, calories out without having a full discussion first about food quality, because you can be eating restricted calorie quantities and be making terrible food choices, right? If you're eating McDonald's or you're eating junk food and you're restricting your calories, I don't care if you can lose weight. I don't care if you can lose weight. Like, weight loss is not synonymous with health. If you're obese, yeah, you need to bring your body down into a better weight range. But just because you're losing weight doesn't mean you're being healthy. Just because you weigh 150 rather than 300, it doesn't mean that you're healthy. You understand? You can be, as much as we talk about health at every size and how that's a load of shit, you could be unhealthy at every size. Just because you have abs doesn't mean that you're healthy. Just because that you're not 500 pounds doesn't mean that you are healthy. It doesn't mean that you're healthy. There are a lot of people that compete in bodybuilding shows, that do extreme diets, that take a lot of exogenous substances, that are really fucking putting their bodies through the ringer. And they're really putting their body through stress, and it's not good. And it can lead to a lot of issues. It can lead to a lot of issues. You have people that have heart attacks and issues and stuff like that all the time, dehydration, little strokes and stuff like that, and passing out, and people get sick all the time from doing extreme dieting and things like that. So anyway, my approach and my real, where I like to guide people to is the food quality. And the reason why the food quality is so important, even before, we have to understand why food quality matters, is because the nutrient density. And if you have a real eating disorder and you really can't stop and you have really imbalanced hormones and they don't tell you that you're full, you're going to need someone guiding you. You're going to need a professional. You have a very specific situation that is not for the general population. So my message, anytime that I make a podcast, anytime that I send out a nutrition message, the reason why it comes with that general approach is because I'm talking to thousands of people, and that's the general population. Maybe a couple of you are personal trainers. Maybe a couple of you are over 500 pounds. Maybe a couple of you are 100 pounds. Maybe a couple of you are over 60. Maybe a couple of you are under 20. So when I send out a message, I can't make 30 podcasts in a day that's specific to each person. So we have to talk about the concepts and talk about the approach that's going to help the most people. And there's this universal approach that, although we can say, oh, well, if you're not consuming too much energy, you're going to lose weight or you're going to maintain. That doesn't help people figure out how to be healthier. If you're focusing on food quality, it's going to be much, much easier to make sure you're not overeating. It's always going to be hard to bulk because you have to eat more than what your body will be satisfied at. You're full. You have to still eat more. That's how you get extra calories, and your body's telling you it's full. You have to force feed yourself more. That's how you gain. It's hard. That's why most people don't. To lose weight, you need to utilize more calories and more energy than your body has access to, whether on your person or through consumption. And if you're eating more nutrient-dense foods, higher fiber foods, or you're eating quality grass-fed steaks, and there's a lot of good, healthy, fucking saturated fats, the animal fats, sweet potatoes, broccoli, vegetables, salads, in addition to those nutrients, you're eating real foods, it's going to be much harder for you to eat 3,000 calories a day. If you're drinking protein shakes, if you're sucking down soda and fruit juice, if you're eating processed foods like breads and pastas, it's going to be a lot easier to overeat. You're going to have those crashes more often if you're biasing your diet more towards carbohydrates. You're going to have those dips and those valleys where you have those cravings more, not to mention your hydration, your lack of sleep. You're going to have those late night glucose and sugar cravings, those sweet cravings a lot more because you're not eating the right food. You're not eating the right quality foods. You're not making good choices. So you're going to have a lot more of a struggle. You're going to have a harder time staying on your nutrition. You're going to have a lot harder of a time not going over your caloric limit. You're going to feel more hungry. You're going to have more cravings because you're not focusing on the right fucking shit. You're trying to shortcut it. Oh, if I just eat less of it. For me, it's not about eating less. I want to eat enough of the nutrients that I need. And if I have to eat more calories, then I'll eat more calories and I'll train harder. You have to get enough nutrients. I mean, nutrients are more void in foods than ever before because we're farming so much and we're producing so much food. The soil and all these different things are not as nutrient dense as they were maybe 500 years ago. There's more people. So you need to consume more volume in many cases. And if you're not exercising, you're going to put on weight. It's very simple. You're going to put on weight over a period of time, whether it's 100 calories extra a day or 1,000. You're going to put on weight faster or slower, depending on how much you're consuming. So eating more nutrient-dense foods will help you keep your calories in check. It's not the only answer. You still have to monitor it, because if you're eating healthy food and you're eating 5,000 calories, you're going to put on size. It's fucking simple. It's fucking simple. It's simple, simple, simple. And everyone always wants to act like a victim. But I have an eating disorder, but I have a problem. So when you say things like this, it affects people like me because it's not so simple. Well, then it's not so simple. Life isn't simple for everyone. Life isn't easy for everyone. If you have an eating disorder, can you still lose weight with this method or gain weight? Of course you can. You have to get out of your own fucking head, and that's what psychologists are for, and that's what support groups are for. It's an eating disorder. It's your brain fuck up. That's what it is. Your brain isn't firing properly and giving you a proper readout for what your body needs. And that's why you have to overrule it. That's why tracking and understanding, I'm only eating 1,800 calories. That's okay. And then you need a support system to fucking get over it. But it doesn't, just because you're overweight or you have PCOS or something, like, you still need to do it. It's still going to come down to whether or not you put in the effort. And for some people, it might be a little bit easier, a little bit less resistance to make changes. And for some people, it might be more resistance, but it doesn't change the fact that you still have to do A, B, C. The laws of science and reality apply to everyone. So you can complain or you can deal and fucking work. Like, you're going to lose weight. You can't just maintain weight that you don't have. You can't just maintain weight. If you're eating too much or your metabolism's slow, it's like you got to eat less or exercise more. You don't want to eat like 800 fucking calories a day unless you're under doctor's supervision or something ridiculous. But you need to move more. You need to exercise more. You need to lift more. You need to be more patient. You need to be more consistent. You need to fucking work harder. You need to try different things. Consistency is everything. And if you're getting more nutrient-dense foods, you can keep consistent more. If you're doing these fad diets and you're going this yo-yo fucking type thing, you're more likely to fall off, because it's extreme and your body can't adapt and it's not something you can maintain. If you're eating nutrient-dense foods and you are maintaining your adherence to your nutrition, you're going to be consistent as shit, and it takes months and years. It's not going to happen in a couple weeks. Thanks for watching, fam. Make sure to subscribe to the Daily Swole podcast on YouTube so you can catch the live streams every single day.